Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to the Larry Yates Show. Thank you guys for joining in again. Really appreciate this. And I'm getting some better emails from you guys. You guys beat up on me for a minute there. Actually, you know something? I got to tell you something real quick. This is going to be a great show today because this is about, we're in a presidential election and we're looking at one party's kind of looking out for the rich. Not that I'm one of them, but then we got one that I believe that is really going to be working for the youth, for the children in the future. And the show today is going to be about young people and in the entertainment industry and how it branches out in real life and working and just reaching back and helping the youth get ahead. But anyway, I actually got one of the funniest email, someone getting on me about Donald Trump. And they actually said that there was a conspiracy from the Democratic Party saying that Donald Trump was set up and they didn't put his mic right. They had his podium twisted and wrong. They used different lightings for his face versus Hillary's face in the split screen. And I've learned something from watching this that debate. I don't know anything. I thought I had enough sense to judge for myself. But then I found out that I wasn't looking at the same thing that some of these Republicans are looking at. And I'm trying to get you guys to help Yates with this thing. I need to know. But anyway, this is a very important election. I know we go through this stuff every year. Every time there's a presidential election, we go through, well, this is an important election. This is an important election. And they all are. But make no mistake about it. It's a lot on the line with this election. And if you don't think about nothing else, think about the Supreme Court. Whether it's the gay rights, whether it's African Americans' right, the right to vote, the Hispanic community, the Supreme Court is going to be very, very important over the next 3-4 years. And we need someone that's going to put people on the Supreme Court that's going to represent the needs of the people, not just the needs of the corporation. Remember when you had that conservative the conservative majority there, you got this lovely thing that you call corporations are people too. And that's because you guys didn't get out and vote. And then when they start dumping all of this money into the political scene, then you're all pissed off. That's because you didn't get your ass up and go vote. And let me just say this. It's very important to vote for the president. It's extremely important. But you need to go vote from a county. I'm going to help you guys with this. Those of you that know, don't send me no letter saying I'm talking down to you because you know I'm not talking to you. But I'm talking about those people out there that don't really understand. You got to vote in the counties. You have to vote in the towns. And you have to vote in the city. And you have to vote in the state. If there's a dog catcher coming up for vote, go vote. If the skunk that's down the street pissed off at the raccoon across the road, go vote. There is no excuse to not vote in every election that's coming up, both locally and nationally. So let's get out and do this thing. But anyway, I think we're going to have a great show today, so I'm not going to kind of bug you to death with this. We're going to go straight to I'm so proud to have these young people on the show today. And they're going to have to be introduced to me a little bit different because you guys know how silly I can get. And you know I would butcher up their names, and I do it on purpose and dare them to say anything, put me in correction. But we'll be talking a little bit of politics, a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of education. I'm sure a lot of that's going to go. But we have group of young people here today, and with this, I think it's a production company, Reel to Reel. So here's what I'm going to do. Monique.
Yes.
We generally give women all the power here at the show. Women just have all the power here.
I love that. I'm going to stick around. I'm not mad at you.
Did I do that? So do me a favor and introduce the cast and everybody that's involved here.
Well, first, my name is Monique Coleman, and I'm just going to clarify really quickly. We're here representing Better Youth, which is an amazing organization that empowers young people through media and film. And Reel to Reel Global is actually a film festival that's coming up on October 8th, and it's Reel, R-E-A-L to R-E-E-L.
I like that.
Basically, young people taking their stories and using the medium of film in order to empower themselves and also to empower their communities. And I think everyone else can introduce themselves.
I'm Melvin Jackson Jr., one of the mentors, and also doing an acting workshop on as part of the.
But speak up just a little bit.
Melvin Jackson Jr. I'm also one of the mentors, and I'm doing an acting workshop on October 8th with Reel to Reel Global.
And I'm Reuben. I work with Better Youth. I've been working with them. This year will actually mark the 10th year I've been working with Better Youth. I've been working with them since about the age of 14, 15.
How did you get involved with Better Youth?
It was just one of those things that just happened. I was in high schoul. I was.
You're not in high school now, man.
Oh,
you look
no,
like
no.
you're in high school now.
I haven't aged in the last 4 years, and I'm very happy about that. I stay young. So I remember in high school, I went to Jordan High School in Watts. I used to play my guitar in the corner. I had an electric guitar that my dad bought me, and this little amp that I used to clip on my belt. It was like the size of a transistor radio. I used to just, fiddle around in the corner, playing my guitar, playing some cheesy songs from my friends and stuff. So then our person who started the organization, Sydney Stewart, I met. She tapped me on the shoulder. And I was just like, who tapped me on the shoulder? And I saw her lovely face. And then she basically gave me my first ever gig to play live at my school.
Oh, wow.
And ever since then, I've been working with Better Youth.
So do you still play?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, well, the opening song. Oh, those of you that's listening to, I'm going to blame this on the engineer. We got the opening song wrong, and I'm not taking responsibility for it. But the good news is the opening song was my blues. This is my first blues album.
Nice.
And that was Online Dating. Yes, I did all the guitar and I did all the bass. I did all the singing and I wrote and produced it. So and look for us on YouTube, and we're now starting to promote that throughout the country.
Love that, by the way. I actually played in the blues band about a year later from that. It was called Choo Choo and the Lovely Band.
Choo Choo and the Lovely Band.
Yeah, I played with them for a while.
Hold on just a second. Jarvis, is there any complaints of anybody getting on the show? Because I'm getting an email that someone couldn't get on. No, just log in.
I don't see anything myself.
So okay, I'm sorry about that, but a lot of time I keep my text message here because I get criticized, and then I also get the text message when people are not able to log on. But anyway, so you did some blues.
Yeah, still do.
Yeah, that's my first blues. When you get a chance to check it out, I don't have any albums on me, but I just released my first blues album. And one of the things that I've done is the reason this show is so important to me, and most people that know me, I work with everybody from Tupac. I work with Smokey Robinson, travel around the world with James Ingram, and I do this on a regular basis, And so I come out of the South, and I handle radio and distribution for many, many companies, Universal, Sony, Master P, all those guys. So I always wanted to help young people get into the industry. And so people would come to me and say, well, Larry, can you help me? And then the numbers come in that it was so expensive. But it's not my cost that is so expensive. It was the market. So one of the things that we've done now, put together a new label that we're going to be helping young jazz musicians and blues artists and so on to be independent and write. So this is why what you guys are doing that is so, it's such a fit today. So tell us how, now I'm talking to Melvin, how did you get involved in this thing?
I got involved years ago. I was working with another company called MRAT, which pretty much deal with young kids as well, helping them direct, produce, write, all types of things in entertainment. And Sydney was also working with one of the guys, Jason Swan, and that's how I met her. And then one thing led to another. and she was telling me what she was doing with Better Youth, and I came on board, and it's been been an amazing experience just working with the youth and being a part of this whole movement.
Yeah, and so how long have you been acting?
I've been acting about 16 years. I've been in entertainment since I was 18, started managing artists. So I've been around for a little bit, on the business side and as well now on the talent and producing.
So what got you into this? I mean, what was that spark as a kid that you said, I got to have this, I got to do this?
Well, I mean, I've always kind of been on stage and talent shows and stuff like that. I wanted to be a lawyer, but I just always felt like there was a passion that I had about music, and then that kind of got me into the entertainment, and then I fell in love with acting, and then the rest was history. It was like, this is where I belong. I would do it for free, do it for money, so it's just like, once you find something you're willing to do for free, that's your passion, that's something that you can do for the rest of your life and have no problem doing it.
Oh, I love it, and just don't think he's more handsome than I am. Get all into that. I know, because I know what my folks are gonna say. Oh, he was handsome. I am too. But I really love your energy,
Thank
man.
you.
Monique, tell us a little bit about you.
My name's Monique Coleman, and
Your name is who?
Monique Coleman.
See how she corrected me? I said Monique. She said, no, my name is Monique.
I did not.
But go ahead. Tell us a little bit.
Well, some people might know me from High School Musical. It was a big Disney franchise many years ago. And for me, having that kind of success was amazing, but it also was very eye-opening because it made me realize that fame alone is meaningless unless you use it for a greater purpose and a greater good. And so at that time, I sort of transitioned into really figuring out how I could not only use my platform, but just use the gifts that I was given that got me in that position in the first place to be able to give back and to inspire other young people. Because, we're not in this position because we're special or we're more talented or we're better looking or anything. We are here because we worked hard, we cared, and we never gave up on our dreams. And so I think it's important for us to, as we continue to climb and elevate in our own careers, to help young people to know that it's their effort that's going to get them where they're going to go. It's their discipline, and to give them access, because so many youth don't have access to the basic materials that they need in order to be able to cultivate their own skills. And so for me, I'm an actress first, but I'm definitely an advocate for youth and really trying to give them as many opportunities as they can.
Because I'm very familiar with your show, give the audience, especially the young people that is watching, give us an example of one thing that you saw from being in front of the camera and going behind the scene in actual professional acting. Give us an example of something that triggered you to say, wait a minute, I got to help people because they don't realize what this is.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things. The biggest one is just realizing that now it's very easy for young people to become famous, in a sense. You can have a YouTube channel, an Instagram, a Vine. There's so much social media out now that very quickly you can gain a following. But you having that following and you being able to be in rehearsals for 6 to 8 hours a day, learning lines, learning dances and performances, and being able to produce or to be able to perform at the moment that you need to be able to perform and have that longevity, that stamina.
Well, I think
there's a difference.
Yeah, the longevity is most definitely important. Reuben, tell us about the upcoming events that you guys are participating in.
Well, primarily the one coming up right now is our Reel to Reel event.
Where is that going to be? Is there a website?
We have our Facebook page. You can follow us on our Better Youth page on Facebook.
Okay.
And then our event will be held at the LA Film School.
On October 8th.
LA Film School?
Yes.
October 8th. Well, now here's going to shock you now. I can guarantee you I got someone in South Africa that is listening to the show. When you say at the film school, LA where?
LA Film School.
Okay, not Louisiana guys. See, that's what I was trying to.
Film School.
Los Angeles, yeah. You'd be surprised.
No,
at how many
I
people would say LA Film School. Where's that, Louisiana? No, man, it's Los Angeles. But I just teasing you a little bit there. And so, what should we expect at this?
Well, we have a couple of workshops. Melvin, would you like to tell us about the workshops that we'll be conducting?
I'll be doing the workshop from 10 to 11:30 for acting and branding workshop with the youth for all ages. I think the youngest age is 13, and I'll be helping them, go through lines and also work on their brand and seeing where they want to go and how they want to build, and not just be an actor, but also be a business in it. I think that when you become a business, you see a bigger picture than just trying to be in front of the camera, because it may meant for you to be behind the scenes, writing, producing, actually, putting forth the effort to make stuff happen. So
I'm going to touch on something that Monique said. When she was explaining about when you were explaining about being the best you can be, but at the same time understanding that longevity is important. And one of the things that I've learned in working with the business, and I've been really blessed enough to work with some of the greatest legends the music business has ever produced. And one of the things that I found out about them, and they will look at me and say, music is what I do. It's not who I am. Mm. So you have to be rooted for longevity. Be rooted in who you are. And be rooted into whatever your spiritual connections is, whatever it is that keeps you centered. But be the best that you can be as a human being as you sharpen your skills. Because the ones that has the sharp skills but it's not centered within themselves are the ones that generally lose out every time. I've seen it many times, and I appreciate you for touching upon that. That's very important.
Yeah, and I also think that being of service is something that happened to me where I growing up, I had to volunteer just as part of my education. I grew up in South Carolina, so when you were making jokes about LA and the LA Film School, when people say USC, I think the University of South Carolina, not the University of Southern California. Yeah. So I'll be looking at you, giving you some side eye, being like, "You mean Gamecocks? Oh, okay, sorry." But yeah, I grew up in South Carolina, and it was part of our curriculum. We had to volunteer, we had to give back, and I think so often people don't feel that they have anything to give until they've gotten to a certain point or a certain level. And that's what I love about Better Youth and about the Reel to Reel Film Festival, is that it's showing young people that right now where you are, your story matters. You have a story, and whatever that story is, whatever trials, tribulations, adversity you've been through or are currently going through, you can use that to the benefit of someone else. And I find that I'm blessed when I bless other people, and your career will elevate when you're not just thinking about yourself.
That is a very powerful point. And once again, I'm using myself as an example. I can do that because I'm on Larry Yates' show. But anyway, I've been a record promoter for many years, and everybody can't be a promoter because, like your publicist, wonderful lady. She's off camera now, but I'm just going to say she's such a wonderful lady. But you can't be a good publicist. You can't be a good promoter if you don't want to see other people grow. And what I found is the more you elevate others in this industry, the more you will ascend yourself. And that is a theory that never seems to fail if you understand what it really means. Now, tell me about the diversity of this organization.
Well, primarily we reach out to underprivileged youth and underprivileged communities. Specifically, we started out branching out with Watts and Compton. Me being one of those youths that were touched by this organization as well, and a couple others who are still with us till this day. But primarily, again, we do serve communities of color.
So, when you're serving, a lot of my audience is my wonderful white friends. I can actually say I have wonderful white friends. And look, now, you guys know I'm not just saying this, oh, I got a white friend at home. No, not that. But there are special needs, not from necessarily a mental lack of, let's say, diminished capacity point of view, but there's special needs in dealing with young African American, especially young African American and Hispanics. How do you address some of these issues with them?
Well, for example, in my case, working with Better Youth, being of the community and having met with these adversities that these youth deal with on a daily basis, I've lived most of those. So I can really cater to these youth because I've been in their shoes, and at times I still am. Mm. So to me, that's not too big of an issue.
Give because a lot of the audience that I have no clue. Mm-hmm. Let me put it where my good friend, the Black Eagle, say on the Joe Madison show, Sirius XM. I never promote other people, but you got to listen to Joe Madison on Sirius XM. But with the amount of what a lot of people are learning what's going on in the communities through cell phones and with being able to film stuff, but we've lived it. So for those that just have seen it on TV and with the new cell phone, just give an example of some of the challenges. Or one of the challenges. Don't have to be that many.
Of course. Well, primarily the main challenges that we always meet first are usually financial. A lot of us grow up in very poor conditions. Usually our parts of town are not very safe. We're always told to get home by a certain time, not to stay out too late. And again, having the board public transportation, at times you can get yourself in very dangerous situations. Yes. I've had times as a child trying to get home, and that's under the protection of my own brother. We've been at that's all right.
We got ducks in the studio, y'all.
I'm sorry about that.
We have a pond in here too?
Yes.
We're just like, where's the pond?
Some of you guys now. I just hold that thought. Now, I asked you guys to text me, not call me during the show.
Call me.
I can't answer the phone, but that's very important.
They call for Monique. They want to talk to Monique.
Yeah, they want to talk to Monique. Can you put those pretty people on the phone?
No kidding.
But that's. You see, a lot of my audience don't understand that just sometimes trying to get home with public transportation can be a very dangerous.
Some people don't make it home. They don't make it home in one piece. Mm-hmm. And there's times where I've had stories where I've had even some of my own friends who don't make it home.
And so, let me ask you something, Melvin. Being an African American male, you get young black men. Do you have to address what's happening with police brutality out here?
I think it's very important because you have to know how to deal with the situation. Everyone grows to be angry, but I think that you have to deal with it in a different kind of way. You don't have to. You can be upset about it, but getting angry won't solve it. It will make you do some things that you don't have a clear mind to think, and you will do things that will actually hinder the situation, not help it. So I think it's very important to sit down with youth, with the kids, and really go through a scenario, a routine traffic stop or routine interaction with the police. How are you going to deal with it? How do you might have to be submissive in the situation just to get home.
Yeah.
So that's important to not be of yourself, but also just think of other people who care about you and getting home to those loved ones at the end of the day.
I'm not from America. Okay, I'm from Mississippi. I love doing that. I just love it. I know some of you have heard it a million times, but they haven't, so it's new to them.
I was like, oh, wow, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Mississippi. Being an older African-American male here, and both black men and women and his Latinos, males and females go through. But as a black man, I can tell you that one of the things that I tell young people, as hard as it is, as bad as it is, it was so much worse at one time. Mm-hmm. So when I talk to you young people, maybe that send a little signal to yourself sometime to sit back when you face these challenges and say, that old man and these old people trying to tell us how it was. See, at one point, even my son at 24, Melky is 24, 25, and I was telling him about, look, this is what you're going to face. Yeah. And, Dad, you old school. Now things have changed out there. That's because you wasn't getting it all on camera. Mm-hmm. And so now my 24-year-old is now worried about my grandson that is 3 years old. So what I tell when I speak at events and stuff like that, I tell young people, we got a long fight ahead of us, right, but make no mistake about it, it is so much better than what it was. Right.
And they also have to remember, like, the people that died for us to have the certain things we have. Like you said, voting. Voting is important. We don't do that.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Melvin, I'm looking at your name so I pronounce it right. Melvin Jackson
Jr.
just said. What? Melvin Jackson Jr. What did you just say?
I say vote. People die for that right to vote, and we don't take advantage of it. Women weren't allowed to vote and for a certain period of time. Like men were able to vote, but then women still weren't able to vote, and so it's like just we have to use that voice. Like the whole interracial dating, we couldn't do that. Emmett Till died because of whistling at at those things
in
like
my
that.
country.
So it's just like we really don't understand. The youth don't understand like everything that's happened. Like they've experienced that, but they've also died for that cause. So that we should be a lot further than what we are. And it's kind of like, thank God we do have cell phones, but it's actually seems like it's making it happen more.
Yes.
Even though it's being publicized, and it's kind of weird. It's like you would think it would stop. Like we caught you, now stop. But now it's like, oh, we're gonna keep on doing it. So
but the more and more accountability is coming down the pipeline, and the reason I'm having this conversation is because you're dealing with the youth, and I so appreciate that, and I like for my audience to listen to young people talk about these struggles. And this is what I say to when Melvin was talking about the angry black men, women, Hispanic men, Hispanic women. That dollar is much more powerful than any gun you would pick up. Just know where to lay down your dollar. You're laying your damn dollar down in the wrong places too much. Yeah. And I tweeted, black dollars matter. I'm very serious.
There you go.
You get that tweeted.
We need
get
that
out
Black
there.
Wall Street
I want all of you guys to tweet black dollars matter, because if you want to change your community, watch where you spend your money and watch them change some of these. You want the police department off you? Stop spending money that's going to get them paid and watch what happens. So we have to be very conscious. And to me, that's the new game now. Everybody boycott. No, we don't call it no boycott. We just gonna be careful about where you spend your money if you want to call it boycott. I'm kind of with you on that, but black dollars matter. But anyway, tell us a little bit about what's her name? I'm kidding, Monique.
Oh.
I'm killing Monique. I knew
somebody just called for me and you forgot my name.
That's right. So, how do you address some of these issues that come to young women of color?
Yeah. It's challenging. I mean, I think what Melvin was saying is spot on. We have to address these issues with more than just anger. Mm-hmm. And we also have to address it with more than just social media and hashtags. And like you were saying, this has been going on for a long, long time. We are just now being able to pull back the layers and see it. And I think it's going to be calling upon leaders and taking actual action steps, like real action, and not being so quick because sometimes I don't respond to things right away because things are a process. We jump on bandwagons without knowing the full story, and we are sometimes sharing because we want to create that community, whereas that community is necessary, but the action is more necessary. So, mobilizing and figuring out, like you said, black dollars matter, figuring out ways that we can really make actual change and not just talking about changes.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get that shirt made. I'm gonna give you credit for it. Black dollars matter. There you go.
Yeah, look, let's do it. We'll promote that. Black dollars matter. I mean, I've been tweeting it and getting out there because we won't call it a boycott. We'll just call it a sanction. That's what we do to countries. That's what we can do. But and that has been lost. And my friends in the Jewish community, I'm practicing Hebrew and the whole bit. And one thing I learned from that community is that if you cross that community, they don't get out here and pick up no gun. They just are not going to spend their money with you. Period. If you on the TV, they're going to turn the channel. If you on the radio, they're going to turn the channel. You do, and we have to pick up some of those same principles. Is that if I am paying you, why can't I let you beat my ass? And I'm the one that's paying you. Right. There's something very, very wrong with that. And once we as people of color start to understand that black dollar matter, right, then we'll get some changes.
You know what it is? I think people get comfortable when it's like we see a situation and we're in uproar, and then we go back to our houses, our nice cars, and we're like, that doesn't affect us. But then when it hits somebody closer, and then it's like, I want to get mad. It's like, what happened 3-4 years ago when you saw somebody down the street getting their butt whipped, and you're like, that doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
It's like we have to stop thinking of ourselves and like let's really get together and form a movement and not just be like, okay, let's boycott for 2 months and then we're done. Let's continue to keep the conversation going and like you said, make the dollars matter.
I think what like Monique said a few minutes ago, one of you guys said that we got here because people died. for you know, we got here because people died here, and you know, both of our communities, and to see the Hispanic and African American community, and then just reaching to the poor, period.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes down to a child being hungry, why would I care what color the skin of that child is? If I can lift that child up off the street because he or she has fallen and scraped his knee, I'm not going to look at it and say, "Wait, this is a white child. This is a black one." I'm not going to do that. So I think as we move forward and move beyond that, and what you guys are doing with Real to Real, and I just love the whole principle here. So we got a little bit off track, Reuben. So is there something you want to add to that?
Oh, definitely, and even just speaking on behalf of the Hispanic culture, I feel that there's tension also between the Hispanic and the Black community that I feel that needs to be remedied because we really need to come together because we're both being oppressed, even if it's not shown on camera. Ever since even growing up as a kid, there's times where I remember growing up, I was scared to go into white communities because I'm like, man, what's gonna happen? I remember one time. Me and my brother a couple years ago, we were going for a drive and we got lost and we ended up all the way in Beverly Hills. And we were scared out our minds.
Oh my God! What you doing in my community?
we were scared. We were scared out. No, this was a couple years ago. It was like 6, 7, 8 years ago, probably more. And we were just scared out of our minds. It was like, man, we're gonna get pulled over, because and mind you, my brother had one of those straight ghetto style kind of cars.
Yeah, with hoopty.
Black car, got 20s. Because you're pulling into a white community, you got 20s, your car's all jet black. You're gonna get pulled over.
Oh
you
yeah.
got 2 Mexicans in the car.
Oh man.
So we're all thinking like, oh crap, what's gonna happen? Because mind you, my brother was never a troublemaker. He's always been hardworking, but he had his taste. Yeah. But we were scared out of our mind.
Well, we're stereotyped.
Yeah, exactly.
We're stereotyped.
Yeah, so
profiled and stereotyped.
I remember one time, and that was just in the city of Lakewood. And this actually happened. It was winter, and it was one of the colder winters, one we haven't had in a very long time. But it was a very cold winter. So for winter, I usually like pea coats and neckties and everything. So I'm well dressed. I have a trench coat on and everything, and I'm just walking on the parking lot. I was trying to get somewhere, and I was on the phone, and suddenly this police officer just stops me in the middle of the parking lot. Hey sir, how are you doing? This and that. I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to check you. We're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do that. I'm just like, I'm just trying to get home. And like, I'm really sorry, sir, but we're gonna have to check your code. We're gonna have to check you. We're gonna have to check this. And I was literally there for 20, 25 minutes, just having been detained for a couple minutes and having been searched and everything. I felt very uncomfortable because it's like I was already having a bad day that day. And I'm just trying to get home because I went to go run some errands and things, and then that happened. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just trying to get home. And then when he looked at my ID, he's like, "You live in Watts? What are you doing here?" It's literally what they said. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And then here's the other audacity. Where did you get that coat?
No.
Where did you get your coat? That was the question. That was the biggest question that got to me. It's like, just because I live in Watts, just because I'm Hispanic does not mean I can be well dressed without there being concerns.
Exactly. I when we're talking about Hispanics and African Americans can get together. My kids was very young, and me and the mom had decided that I was too good for her. And no, I'm just kidding. She got rid of it. She gave me the boot. But I would go out every morning and babysit my kids, and so I would get to her get in Bellflower around 4:00 in the morning. She went to work at 5. I'm in the neighborhood. 65 Mustang, polished to the T. I'm the man. Woo! And this cop pulls through his light on me, pulled me over, and he get out, and he was a Hispanic policeman. He got out. He came over to my car, and I kid you not, excuse my name, he said, "What the fuck are you doing out here this time of night?" I said, "Officer, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do?" He said, "You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to do nothing. You're driving this time of night by yourself in this area. There are some cops that will stop you, that is not going to say not one word, but drag your ass out this car and beat the shit out of you. Now, he trailed me home. That was a Hispanic cop did that for me. I would never forget that man, because he probably saved me, because I was didn't drive in the neighborhood, but it was this Mexican, Hispanic cop that pulled me and schooled me for driving like that this time of morning.
Well, and that brings up, I think the fact that we can't generalize either. We can't generalize all police officers.
Exactly.
There are people out there that are, doing exactly what they're supposed to do, which is to protect and serve. And, we just actually, Reel to Reel Global just screened the movie Queen of Katwe, which is out in theaters right now. And one thing that was really great about that was that it was showing that we're talking about these issues that are happening on our streets, but they're not just happening in our communities, they're actually happening all over the world. And I think it's important, that all people, that communities come together and say, this isn't right anywhere. These are things that we have to not pit against one another, but come together and really stand up for.
How do a young person get involved in Reel to Reel?
Well, I think the best thing to do would be to come to the film festival next week, Reel to Reel, on October 8th at the Los Angeles Film School.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles, not LA, the Los Angeles Film School on Sunset.
Sunset, yeah.
On Sunset in Hollywood.
Not
I
the
believe,
Sunset. No, just kidding.
not the Sunset, not the Strip, okay? Sunset in Hollywood. I believe it goes from 10 a.m. until around 5 p.m. We're going to be screening 1 to 5. There's going to be an acting workshop in the morning that Melvin Jackson Jr. is going to be leading. There's going to be films being screened all throughout the day. That's a great place to come and support the work of young people.
Are you guys in any of the films that's going to be screened?
No, they're all the youth have done their films, and they're just
Really?
Yeah.
they're youth. And last year Bill Duke was there, so we got a chance to hear from him and interview him, and just a great experience for the kids to just interact. Not knowing who they probably don't know who Bill Duke is, but I'm sure after that day they learned a lot about him.
Yeah.
And you can go to betteryouth.org as well, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
And the production quality of these films, it was very difficult for me to fathom, especially during our first Reel to Reel, because I've been to screenings from prestigious schools, and these kids were at that level, if not above. And I believe part of that has to do with the stories that are being told. So again, the production value was just unfathomable.
Wow, if I was in town, I'd probably drop by.
And Reel to Reel is free, so don't worry about
Oh, well, that is free. I'm just kidding.
Bring your whole family.
it. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
free 99. Free 99.
$3.99.
Free.
Free 99. Free.
Free.
Free 99.
99.
You know what? I'm beginning to like these people. There's something about these young people I'm beginning to like here. Free 99.
Free 99.
I do it like they do it on the street. Yo, free 99. You know what I'm saying? It's like No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, bro.
But no, I really appreciate. What do you see the future of Reel to Reel going?
It's gonna continue to grow. It's already grown exponentially in the last year. So it's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah, and if anyone's listening, we're looking for partnerships. Obviously, this is a free event, but you can't really do anything without money. We know that, and like you said about how our dollars matter. I think it's really important that inside of these communities that we invest in the young people. We can't just talk about and wish for and hope for things to happen. It costs money to have the proper equipment and to be able to to give the training. So you actually can donate to betteryouth.org. As well, and support initiatives like this Reel to Reel Global.
So, what are some of the criteria for the youth to enter this program?
I think first of all you have to be a youth.
Yeah, of course.
So
we
I think
have
it's
an age gap as well.
I think it's up to 24 years old. You can be up to 24 years old, so you have to be under 24. So you
what about
just
school
barely
and
missed
grades
it.
And
You missed it. You just missed it. I know you really wanted to be a part of it. No, but I think it's equal opportunity. Yeah,
of course.
It's really just about, because the thing is that in school we're graded in such a limited way, and that's part of the challenge in the education system, especially nowadays where most things you can Google anyway. You can find out online. So we actually have to teach young people skills that are going to be useful to them in the future.
Absolutely.
And So as artists, there's no qualifications that you have to make a certain grade. This is for a lot of young people, I imagine, an awakening, an opportunity for them to see
Absolutely.
that they had a gift or skill that they didn't even know they had.
If anything, a lot of our youth also improve academically, and I think part of that is the support system that we create for them. Because oftentimes they just need a push, they need encouragement, because sometimes they don't have that support system at home or in their community, and oftentimes they just feel stressed and oppressed that they begin to perform worse and worse over time. So oftentimes when they've joined our program, they have not just improved as an individual or as an artist, but academically as well. And I speak from experience as well.
How is parent participation?
Parent participation, we have the door open for the parents to be involved, but oftentimes, again, our youth come from underprivileged homes,
Broken homes
and oftentimes they don't have parents, or oftentimes they will be in single homes. So oftentimes we really are that kind of support factor, sometimes that father figure, mother figure for that child's lives.
And Real to Real Global was actually co-founded by a young woman who was in the foster care system. And she actually continues now to advocate for foster youth. And she's such an amazing example because when she stands on stage and talks about her journey and her story, she is the living example of what Better Youth has been able to do for young people everywhere. And that's amazing.
What is her name again?
Janae Rivers. Shout out, Janae. We love
Janae.
you.
Janae.
I think she probably can't be here right now because I believe
Yeah.
she's just enrolled in school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, how old is she now?
20. How old is Janae? Like, she's 22. 22 years old.
Yes.
22 years old. Co-founded a global youth film festival, and this is the second annual year.
Well, Janae, you got to come on here and talk about this thing because
Yeah.
you got some wonderful, wonderful people here representing. I mean, I just so appreciate the energy that you guys have and what you bring to the table. This has been really, really a wonderful, wonderful having you guys here today.
Thank you.
You know, and you was about to say something then?
No, I was just saying thank you.
Oh, well, still say more.
But definitely, I think it's important. I have three boys, 18, 13, and 8, and it's important for me.
Children?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even know you. I mean, I know you, but clearly. Oh, my
I
God.
know you, but I don't know you, but I know you.
An 18-year-old? I
you
thought
know-
you were
what now?
24.
I have an 18-year-old, 13-year-old, and an 8-year-old, and I was a single father at 17, and so I definitely, feel like it's important for the youth to have someone to look up to that can kind of relate to them, and I still try to stay hip with my kids, and not be the old parent, but it's definitely, I always say to myself, I say, I have to make sure that I mentor to my kids before I mentor to other people, because if I'm not setting an example with them in my household, then I can't then go out and speak to another kid and tell them something when I'm not implementing the same situations with my own kids. So it's very important.
I mean, you don't have one wrinkle. Like, I don't understand. You have an
Dang, I
adult
would've not been able to
child.
believe
He's
that.
he's almost as handsome as I am. And
Larry, I'm going to need you to stop.
I'm
I'm going to need you to.
I'm the only Mexican in the room, so that instantly makes me handsome. I have no competition up in here.
Well, and I'm the only
love that.
girl,
I
so,
love
well,
that. I
there's
love
that.
Yeah.
But that's very. You wanted to say.
Yeah,
after
so I wanted to talk a little bit about Janae. Me and Janae actually went to high school together. So I've been very privileged to see her grow as a person and in her craft and in her passion. And Janae is, again, an exemplary example of what Better Youth is. And me and Janae have been the longest running people in Better Youth. In terms of our youth, me and her have been the longest running. And we've also have been around since the early inception of Better Youth, when it started as a very small and humble office at our high school.
Wow.
And I've been very privileged not only to see Janae grow, but our organization grow, and even our CEO of the organization, Sydney Stewart. I've gotten a chance to see her grow as well, and everything that she's done till this day. So it has drawn us very close together.
And also, it provides opportunities for leadership. I mean, now Reuben is definitely a leader, and I think that's what's great too, is that it's not something like, I feel like the charity model is kind of dissipating, like where you just give and then that's the end of
Yeah,
it. Now
it's-
it's really about empowering and giving in a way that then people who come through the program are able to really
That
contribute
is
at large.
very true, and what I like about our organization as well is it's kind of you come through, there's a transformation, and then you continue to spread the process, because a lot of organizations are kind of autopilot. It's just, give your money and you're all set. and here we give of our time, we give of our effort, we give of ourselves, and then we see transformations happen. And I have to say, I've been very privileged to see that as well, and be privileged to be a part of it, and also having been transformed myself through this experience as well.
Reuben, tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Ooh, I do a lot of things. So I'll try to keep it short. So I'm a middle school teacher. That's one. I'll be teaching high school next year.
Okay.
I'll be starting my own audio recording arts program.
What?
In Watts. So that's what I'm doing now. I also work for a record label. It's called RK Records. I just started. Are you familiar with Grandmaster Jay?
Yeah.
So I'm working for him, actually.
Yeah. And in fact, back in the day when their music was released, I did some of the radio on that, some of the clubs and stuff on some of that stuff.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. And so how did you, did you say you play a little blues?
No, I'm a guitarist as well. I actually have been probably doing that longer than everything else. I started when I was 12.
Melvin, tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day. What's your day look like?
And tell us what you've got coming up in January.
Well, I've been promoting the new movie I have coming out, the New Edition movie where I'm playing Curtis Blow.
Yes.
So constantly in promotion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yes. So that's amazing. And then I'm also hosting the Empire After Show on stream.tv. And I'm just constantly, trying to empower youth as well as other people about being in the business and producing films and writing films and telling our stories and not waiting for Hollywood to knock on our door and give us a chance.
Build your own door.
New Edition is going to be on the BT network. It's a 6-hour movie, 3 nights, January 24th, 25th, and 26th. So you guys are gonna be full off this. I think this is gonna change the way miniseries are done. This is a movie, 6-hour movie. I think it's better than doing it in a theater because you're not cheated. It's so much to tell of a story of these amazing guys that I think that BET did it right.
Was that the New Edition? You say
New Edition.
Is that from the group New Edition?
The group New Edition.
What was the guy's name? New Edition.
Which one? You got Ralph, you have Johnny, you have Mike.
Yeah, I had an album on Johnny Gill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Johnny Gill.
Johnny Gill from my neck with DC.
In fact, we were just in Johannesburg last year with Johnny Gill.
Okay.
I had an album I produced and manufactured and distributed an album, Unconditional Love, the movie, and Johnny Gill. I had him to do the title song on that. Yeah,
we know it's a hit then.
Oh yeah, I did a lot of the stuff with that. When Ray Parker wrote Mr. Telephone Man with the New Edition, I was one of the promotion men that hit the road with that. Wow. Oh yeah, I've been out there a long time. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your day to day. What's going on in your day?
Well,
Monique.
Yes. Well,
Coleman.
I try to start the day with a workout. And that's actually not a joke. No, people make fun of me because I'm always trying weird things. And I'm being completely transparent. Like, I box.
Ooh.
Stop. You scared.
Yeah.
Don't act like you're not scared. You scared.
Yeah, I'm scared.
But for me, though, being physical, because as an actor, we spend so much time in the in-between, and it's so important that during that in-between, one of the things I love to say is you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yeah. And that's physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, your craft, everything. So I genuinely do try to start my day with a workout, not just for physical, but
do you have any new projects we can look forward to seeing you on?
Not till next year, probably.
Okay.
I just did 2 independent films over the summer. Yeah. And then I think Here We Go Again is on TV1 right now still.
We got 5.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Here We Go Again, people have been texting me that's airing right now. It aired already once. Oh, in the Streamy Awards. We're up for my show. Our web series is up for a
She
Streamy
just
Award on
so
Tuesday.
happened to forget that she's up for
It's
an
called
award
It's
here.
called The Fourth Door. And
Because she's so
that's
awesome,
on
she's
Tuesday.
used to it, you know.
Stop.
You forget,
Stop.
you know.
I love you guys' energy, man.
She's talking about workouts and you talk. She ain't worried about no. She's like
I was like, I'm working my triceps and my abs.
I do the kick.
I'm starting to move over and all of that.
I was like,
I'm already sweating talking about working out. I need to get back to that.
Oh God, let me tell you the need for me to get out there. But this has really been a wonderful show, and I think we're having a countdown with time here. So Jarvis, what are we looking at over there? 3. He said,
you guys can see he's like 4.
Hey, kids, that's why you need to stay in school now. It's hard out here.
So you with your parents are from Watts area,
Oh, I've lived in Watts my whole life.
and your parents. How do your parents feel about what you?
About what I'm doing? Oh, they're very proud.
They
They're
have to be.
They're very proud, and the only thing is, this is what I've always been happy about my parents. They've never blown up what I do, but I know why. It's a strategy because they've never wanted my head to blow up. So they're like, yeah, Reuben's just gonna go play at the Home Depot Center. You know, it's cool. He'll be back by 8.
Yeah, that's
Could you
parents
stop
for
by and
you.
pick up some food on the way home?
Like, yeah. After you come back from the studio, can you like bring me some milk and stuff? You know, we're kind of hungry. You know,
Oh
That's
my
gorgeous.
goodness!
for the cereal. You know.
But what you guys are doing for the youth is just such an amazing thing, and you know I anything that I can do, you know, please call on me. As long as we have this show, you guys can always come on here and talk about what you're doing out there. And you made me look good because I'm sitting with a bunch of good-looking people, a lot of intelligent people, and you guys, the sky's the limit. You know, you got the great personalities and stuff, and I just so enjoyed this show today, and we needed to have. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you
and
want
one more thing I wanted to say, I think it's important that the parents support their children, no matter how crazy their ideas may be. How, you know, I think I know for a fact that without my mother, you know, supporting me through it all, like I wouldn't be here. Anything I told her I wanted to do, she said you can do it. Anything you put your mind to, you know, you can do it. And I'm just so thankful to have a great mother. My father, you know, he is still in hard work with me, and I think it's important. We have to support our kids, no matter how crazy it may seem.
You know, and you know, we could really talk so much about that because I was the same way. I didn't have anybody that truly believed in my talents and skills and stuff like that. And I've tried to push kids and I reach out to the community in my own kids. So support your kids in their ideas and stuff. But look at we at the end of the show. So what I like to do is go around the table and give everybody an opportunity to just say a quick words of wisdom. And starting with you, Reuben, give us the audience just wonderful words of wisdom to say goodbye with.
Certainly, and this is really goes out to the very, very young people, kids, teens, young adults. Start off in what you would like to do as early as you can, because by the time you are legally considered an adult, you'll have to struggle less. Don't be scared to give up just some of your childhood for the sake of building a better future for yourself. Don't waste your time. If you know what you want, go get it. Doesn't matter what age you are.
Thank you for that. Melvin Jackson Jr.
Stop making excuses on why you can't be who you want to be. Go out and do it. There's no reason why you cannot be, whether it doesn't even have to be entertainment. If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, you go and do the work and do the homework and learn how to be those things and stop making excuses for it.
And your term, young lady?
I'm going to piggyback on what Melvin Jackson Jr. just said and say that everything that you need is already inside of you. So don't look at fear as an obstacle. Look at it as a mountain that you're going to climb over and be willing to just take it with you. Sometimes I think we wait to think that we're ready for things. You may or may never feel ready, but by going and putting one foot in front of the other and just trying things, you will get ready along the way.
You know,
it sound like Michelle Obama over here.
I'm gone. She got it going on. You know,
I can't.
You guys have said such wonderful things, but you know, you guys know me, and I always kind of end the show with a little bit of seriousness because the highest ceiling you'll ever reach is within you. The deepest ocean you'll ever swim is in you. The widest, vast plane you ever cross would be you, and the highest peak you ever climb is in you. Be centered in who you are and go after what you want. And get out and vote. And remember, Black Dollars Matter. Melvin's going to help do a T-shirt on that.
We're going to make it happen.
Black Dollars Matter.
I'm text right now.
And as we say that, and I always end this show, remember, a nation can rise no higher than it elevates this woman. This is Larry Yates. I'll see you next time.
Yes.
Online dating. I met this girl online. Online dating. I met this girl online. Clicked and fell.